Hello, everyone. I'm Kimberly Adams. Welcome back to Make Me Smart, where we make today make sense, especially Fridays, which make much more sense than other days of the week, if I must say so myself. Today is Friday, May the 31st.
I'm Kyle Risdall. Thanks for joining us on the podcast and on the YouTube live stream. As Kimberly said, it is Friday. We will do our weekly happy hour episode, Economics on Tap. Will start us off.
Yes, and today we are going to get to some news. We are going to take a break and then play a game. But of course, we have to start with drinks. I see your Puabic mug, Kai. I was going to call you, let's say Cairo, not Cairo. Kai.
Right.
What do you have in your Puabic mug?
I have a cup of coffee because I have some things to do later on today. It is only 3:30 out here, and so I can't really just keep drinking.
Drank coffee at 3:30 in the afternoon, I'd be up until the next day. I could not do it. Like even on the days where I do need to drink coffee, it's like a single cup, maximum two if things are dire.
Really? Wow.
And only first thing in the morning. I cannot.
Wow.
Yeah. Have high caffeine
Bob
resiliency.
What are you drinking?
I am trying a new drink today. I've had this for a while, which is old-fashioned syrup from a company called Pratt Standard Cocktail Company, which is, I think, a DC company. But it's agave spice, and it's used to make, in particular, a tequila old-fashioned. And so, which is not something I've had before. And so you basically use the old-fashioned syrup, and then you add tequila or mezcal, and then an orange peel. And that is what I am trying today. And it's got like many spices and things, and this is what it looks like. And I had a little sip earlier. It's good. It's perhaps a little stronger than a typical old-fashioned might be. I've got a giant ice cube in it, and I'll be sipping it very slowly.
There you go. So let's see. Barbara Monaghan is drinking a South African Sauvignon Blanc. Jason Hildreth is having Vita Mate. I don't know what that is, but I guess it's got a lot of caffeine because that's what it says.
Vita Mate, maybe?
Vita Mate, perhaps? Yes, of course. You moron. Of course, that's what it is.
I've never seen this phrase before either.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Got some water, always good, or H2O. Kirkland Signature Vitamin Water. Okay, Steve. Let's see. What else? Man, people are
Somebody's having a
today.
raspberry lemon drop. Mighty Unlikely's having an ice cold lime seltzer. Miles Wilburn, I'm sorry to have to tell you this is the last time you can come to the YouTube chat. Michelob Golden? No, I don't think so.
Ooh, Kay Gilbert has rum, fresh cherry, and Luxardo maraschino juices. Tonic with fresh Luxardo cherries for garnish. Fancy. Okay.
I met Kay Gilbert the other day. She came to the studio.
Oh, nice.
Chit-chat. Yeah.
Lovely.
Hi, Kay. Lovely to see
Let's see. Adrian has milk tea boba.
Yes, Paul in Minnesota. I am very judgy with my hoppy IPA beer tastes. It's my podcast. I can do what I want.
All right. Speaking of which, what's your news, Kai?
Oh, so look, this one has sort of been everywhere. If you've been listening to, headline news, it's probably item number 4 or 5 after news of the trial and the verdict and all that. But the Fed's preferred measure of inflation, PCE, came in today 2.7% year over year, which is much better than it has been, obviously, but still not where the Fed wants it. And I bring it up to make sure people realize this. Interest rates are going to be much higher for much longer than we thought even 3 months ago. I think it's likely that we're not going to get a rate cut this year and that we're going to 2025 with interest rates where they are. So let's think about what that means. Housing, right? Mortgage rates are going to stay high. Car insurance, credit cards, all those interest rates are going to stay really high. I bring that up for reason number 2. That's going to hit the lower part of the income spectrum much harder than it's hitting the upper part of the income spectrum, right? Interest rates are an annoyance, right? Inflation is an annoyance for people in the upper end of the income spectrum, but people in the lower end of the income spectrum who pay a proportionally higher portion of their income in car payments and mortgages and all this jazz And in addition to higher prices overall, that's going to hit more people there. And we all just need to be ready for this. It's going to be a good long while before rates start coming down, you know?
Right, and I think that that just exacerbates this issue that the Biden administration and campaign have of
Yep.
trying
Yep.
to sell the message of a good economy
Yep.
when not only are prices demonstrably higher than they were, even if
Yep.
wages are up and even if the rate of prices getting higher is slowing down, prices are higher than people remember them being recently. And now layer on top of that that the cost of borrowing is higher. If you
Mm-hmm.
are in that lower end of the income scale and you're relying on credit cards more, which the data shows people are doing to meet, their daily needs and even using credit card debt to finance things like groceries and things
Right.
like that, you are paying that super high interest rate on top of it. It's been very interesting. I know the algorithms kind of self-select what they show you on social media, but I've been seeing all these influencers coming out super strong against legislation or investigations into credit card reward points that the
Mm-hmm.
Biden
Mm-hmm.
administration is looking into. And they're like, they're coming after your airline perks. They're coming after your rewards points. They're trying to make people who are responsible for credit, suffer and this, that, and the other. And I find it very fascinating because rewards points and those perks are paid for by the people at the lower end of the income scale.
Right.
Basically, it's
Right.
the people who can't pay off their bills every month and who are paying the penalties and paying the interest that are effectively bankrolling the rewards points for the consumers at the top who are able to pay those bills off when they want to.
Totally.
And to see influencers who are talking about like your travel hacks to get a free upgrade and this, that, and the other. Look, I'm a big user of rewards points. I use some of my rewards points today to cash in on some Amazon stuff. Look, I am part of the problem. If I guess if you think it's a problem, but I think that you know credit cards in particular are going to be where people really feel this the most. And
Mm-hmm.
if you are lucky enough to be in a position where you can pay everything off, good for you. Those perks are probably going to stay and keep getting better. But man, on the other end of that, that's going to be bad.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. What's your news?
Completely, absolutely related to exactly what you said. It's about interest rates and housing. So
Mm.
housing is such an issue, especially if you're trying to buy a home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. So CNN has an article about the return of zero down mortgages,
Oh
which
my.
were a thing right before the financial crisis. I've seen stories in recent months about the return of adjustable rate mortgages because people were convinced that the rates being this high was a temporary thing. So get an adjustable rate mortgage and then it's going to go down later, right? But if you have
Yep.
rates higher for longer, that adjustable rate mortgage doesn't help you as much as you think it did. And people with zero down mortgages, on the one hand, it can make homeownership a little bit more accessible. And I was just doing some reporting on the mortgage interest deduction with home prices being what they are
Mm-hmm.
and interest rates being what they are. It means that more people will pay enough in interest that they might be able to actually claim that deduction over the standard deduction. But the risks are quite high. As CNN points out, if housing prices go down, you're in real trouble. So it says if a homeowner needs to sell quickly, perhaps because they lose their job, face financial distress, or need to relocate, suddenly they'd be on the hook to pay back either the second mortgage if they're using a second mortgage to, close the gap for the down payment, or just, for the mortgage overall. And if you're underwater, if your home value, because remember, house prices are extremely high right now. There's a lot of bidding wars. And if prices go down even a little and you're in a zero down mortgage, you can really get underwater quickly. And that can be quite risky. And this is exactly what happened during the subprime
Mm-hmm.
crisis. And so just be careful out there. And then I saw another story where the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is starting to look into, as part of the overall effort to go after junk fees, closing costs for housing. And In particular, they're looking at discount points. Apparently, a lot more people are trying to buy discount points on their mortgages now
Yeah.
because the idea is that if you are stuck with a high interest rate, why not pay up front to lower that interest rate to keep your costs down earlier? But there's not really a set value of a discount point. And the CFPB is a little bit worried that people are getting scammed. So they have, if you go to regulations.gov, a request for information for potential for proposed rulemaking.
Oh my God. All right, we're going out on that one. Quick break, and when we come back, half full, half empty. Here we go.
Yes. All right, we are back. Time to play half full, half empty. Today we have a very special guest for our half full, half empty. The one, the only, the early fade in on the end credits, JC Bull. Take it away, Jay.
Okay, bear with me
Jay!
on this here. Much like
Jay,
the
don't
Beach
screw it up, man.
Boys, the Beach
Don't
Boys,
screw
they
it up.
brought West Coast sunshine and surfing to the rest of the landlocked U.S., right? And automaker
Okay, Beach
GM,
Boys.
they shared a taste of California culture with the world 60 years ago with the debut of the Chevy Malibu. The sleek, two-door, top-down cruiser morphed eventually into a household four-door sedan through the years, but it outlasted 10 U.S. presidents. But you can't elect it to office because, for one, it's a car, but also GM announced it's putting the Malibu out to sea, ending production at the end of the year. So are you half full or half empty on the discontinuation of the Chevy Malibu?
I'm
I'm
okay with
just
that.
like-
I think 60 years is a long time. I just do want to give a shout out to the run up to that question, though. That was
I know, that's what I was
that
going to say. I'm
epic.
half full on your setup. I love it.
No joke.
Even if I hadn't heard Mitchell's story, I would have been like, woohoo, I know what's going on. Yes, love, yeah, let's see. Car being around for a really long time, not being around anymore. Aren't they retooling the factory to make EVs
They
instead?
are indeed. They are indeed.
Yes. Half
Yep.
full. Let's do it.
Right
Yep,
on. Okay.
totally.
Well, why don't we move on here and let's think about leaving the office today. In your cases, your houses. So you leave, you log off for the last useless team video meeting for the week. You slink out to your neighborhood local for a quick taste of your choice. You get in line to pay, and boom, you're suddenly transported into another Zoom meeting. And not only is there no escape from digital meetings, now they want your money. So are you half full or half empty on
yeah.
Zoom cashiers?
Oh yeah, so this was on the show this week. Yeah, I'm half empty, man. I'm half empty. I don't need, if you're gonna make me like deal with that, just take my money like electronically. I'll, wave my phone over the thing. I don't need a cashier. Just no, empty.
I encountered this in real life.
Did you?
So
Oh my God.
you know where it was? It was when I went skydiving for my 40 skills for 40.
Oh,
There
wow.
was like the guy there who like took us to the safety briefing, and then he was like, yeah, go over there to that kiosk to pay and check out. And I was like, come again? And there was a dude sitting there, on the video chat, just like, hey, here's what we go through, and pay over here and sign this and accept these disclosures. And it was so disorienting. I pass. Yeah, half
Pass.
empty. I didn't like it. Didn't like it.
Totally.
Next up, Disney theme parks. They've made headlines the last 3 years or so for increasing ticket costs to combat demand at the parks and overcrowding. Disneyland in California, in case, Kai, you were planning to head down there today, just to get in, you're going to pay about $200, and you're still paying for the Mickey ears and hot chocolates that you want on top of that.
Yes, you are.
Well, way across the pond, the little hamlet of Venice, Italy, got to thinking, we like this ticket idea. The canals are practically a theme park
yeah.
ride, right? Are you half full or half empty on the new admissions fee to Venice, Italy?
Yeah, so look, I was in Venice a
all the way
year
full.
ago. Yeah, totally. I was in Venice a year ago. It is not equipped for the number of people it's getting. It's doing real damage to the city and the canals and the buildings, which are super old and in tough shape anyway, and global warming and all that jazz. Half full. I'm all the way full. Screw it. I'm all the way full.
Yeah,
Totally
I'm
agree.
all the way full of communities doing what they need to do to protect themselves from over tourism.
1000%.
Another aside that makes me so sad. My sister and I had big, ambitious plans to go to Carnival in Venice, and we had bought our like big fancy dresses. She had this gown, and then she got somebody who does like costume work for the Metropolitan Opera to like jazz it up. She had this whole thing. She had the mask, and we had gotten this apartment, this Airbnb on St. Mark's Square, and we were gonna like do all the balls and like live the fantasy
Really?
in February of 2020.
Oh
That
no,
canceled.
really? Oh man, that's
Yeah. So
That's a
no
shame.
Venice
Holy
Carnival
cow.
for us.
Would've
And
been epic.
it would have been epic. And now I kind of don't want to go after hearing about like the
Yeah.
over tourism and the crowding and things like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, totally.
yeah. All right. What's next?
Okay, Danimals. When it launched in the mid-90s, it solved a few problems all at once. The first problem is that kids need to eat more yogurt because, the whole milk
Wait,
builds strong
Kai's
bones
looking
thing.
so confused. Do you even know
No,
what
no, I
Danimals
know.
are?
Trust me, I got 4 kids. I know what the animals are. I'm just
Oh,
like
that's
that was a
right,
turn.
okay.
I didn't expect the turn. But
Okay.
Jay, please go on.
So that's the first problem. Kids got to eat more yogurt. The second problem, yogurt's not portable and you need a spoon. So, Danimals. Drinkable yogurt
Right.
for kids in a cute disposable plastic bottle with a monkey on it. So, we're now wondering what yogurt problems, if any, the founder of Chobani was trying to solve with his recent purchase of the Anchor Brewing Company. Half full or half empty?
I saw that. So, oh yeah, I saw
I
that.
didn't. What was it?
Okay, so Anchor Brewing is an iconic brewery in San Francisco, which it's been having a rough time the last 3, 4, and longer than that. I think it declared bankruptcy, and then it tried to figure out a way that the employees could buy it, and that fell through for some reason. They made a Christmas ale for many years. Maybe they still do. That was like sort of the go-to for me and my friends back when we were in college and beyond. Anyway, half full of anybody who cares about it and will take care of it buying Anchor Steam.
Okay. I defer to you on all things beer, so I will say half full.
There we go. Perfect.
I think it's time for the poll now, yeah?
Is it? Jay?
Certainly
you in
it's
charge?
time. So look, it used
right.
to
Yes,
be
awesome.
you would pay your 20 or 30 bucks to see prog rock legends like Rush at a stadium, and then afterward, sure, you stumble out to the merch counter and you get that t-shirt, and yeah, it's $60, but come on, it's Rush, and you only paid 20 or 30 bucks to get in. Well, a little bit of a different story now when you go to a concert. Are you half full or half empty on the end of merch?
The end of merch is a thing?
What?
Merch is
why would
ending?
merch end?
It's the end of merch.
According to whom?
can't-
I just bought merch at a
says who?
concert like 2 months ago.
Well, I think it's our friends over at GQ who are giving us this information here.
Damn GQ.
I don't know that I buy it. I spent $40 on a long sleeve t-shirt for a band I'd never heard of just on a whim. So I think that concert merch, because it had a funky little design on it, and I want to support the small artists,
Totally. Totally.
And I don't know. I think so. I don't go to that many concerts in general, because I generally don't like to be in crowded places with lots of people. Thank you, Egyptian Revolution. And so I don't go to that many concerts, but when I do, I try to like make sure I'm supporting the artist and get something.
Yeah, I think that's totally right. And all of you in the chat, vote accordingly. But it's a little memento, man. And look, are they expensive? Too expensive sometimes? Yes. But as a percentage of the ticket price, probably it's not that much. I'm all in favor of merch. That's buying experience. Totally.
By the way, Jay, you're getting some love in the YouTube chat for your setup for these, which I have to say is fantastic for all of these.
It is indeed. It is indeed. All right, let's now that we've weighed in en avance, as it were, let's close that poll. And somebody, that's all right. Somebody tell me in Slack or wherever what the results of the poll were. Nice.
Oh, half empty, 78%.
Really? Really?
I mean, fair about the disposable clothes and like the not being into the super consumerism, but these artists got to make money somehow.
Yeah. Especially by the way, smaller artists, right? It's not like Taylor Swift is surviving and Beyonce are surviving on your buying their merch, but smaller artists and smaller clubs. That's where
Yeah,
a lot
they
of the
need
money
that.
is.
I'll say this real quick. It
totally.
used to maybe mean a little more when you saw somebody out in the wild with a dead, Grateful Dead t-shirt on or
That's
whatever it
true.
might be. These days, Target for $10 is selling band t-shirts that likely some of the kids have never listened to, so I don't know.
That's true. We are being corrected in the poll in the chat, Kimberly. The half empty. The
What?
question was the end of merch. So people are half empty on the end of merch. Just
okay.
that's the way.
Okay.
That's the way I read it as well.
Good.
Right. Everybody wants to keep. Yeah.
Good, good,
everybody wants to keep the merch. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Good to hear it. Okay, so we're
Yes.
all mostly
go. All right.
aligned.
Good
Okay.
stuff.
Well, that should be it for us today. Now,
Yes.
speaking of merch, thank you.
Very nicely done.
Thank you so much to everybody who stepped up and made a donation during our May fundraising drive and got your own marketplace merchandise, your mugs, your hats, your Jasper tumblers, your t-shirts or whatever. We had 3,340 people who stepped up and helped us out. Really appreciate it. And thanks to you, we are happy to share that we did successfully meet our goal for May. And please, we do have another goal for June that will get us across the line for our fiscal
Shut
year.
Shut up.
Thank you for getting us to where we needed to be for May.
Couple of you who gave. We'll just shout some out here. Christopher in Langley, BC. Sharon in Agawam, Massachusetts. Neil and Kathy, they're in Hawaii. And many, many more. And Kate Gilbert, actually, who I met this past week.
Yes. Okay.
We literally cannot do this without you. So thanks.
Please and thank you. We really do appreciate it. I know it's kind of a drag to hear us asking for money all the time, but you all see the same headlines about the industry that we do, and we need it and we appreciate it. So thank you. Oh, and one more thing. Next week we are going to do for our deep dive. We're going to get smarter about something else nerdy but near and dear to my heart: election polling. And how you can know which polls to trust. Should we trust polling at all? Is polling even relevant anymore in the age of no one answering their landlines, which apparently I'm the only one who still has? But look, we want to hear from you. What do you want to know about polling ahead of the 2024 election? You can let us know at 508-UB-SMART or email us at makemesmart@marketplace.org.
Make Me Smart is produced by Courtney Bergseeker. Today's episode was engineered by Charlton Thorpe. Our intern is Talia Menchaca.
The team behind our Friday game is Emily McCune, Jamila Huxtable, and Antoinette Brock. Marissa Cabrera is our senior producer. Bridget Bodner is the director of podcasts. And Francesca Levy is the executive director of digital and on Fridays, on demand too.
But only on Fridays. And a shout out for JC Bolt. Stepping in there.
Shout out to JC Bolt.
There we go.